Crimson Candy Ruby Apple Red. Written by bigcatsmallcat and read by Eleanor Elizabeth. Summary. When Bakugo tragically ditches Kirishima's bro-salon time, Todoroki comes to the rescue. He ends up with a full head of mismatched red hair, a boyfriend, and a double date. All in all, it's a pretty good deal. Kirishima feels like Casper the Friendly Ghost as he wanders around the 3A dorms on an eerily quiet Saturday night, looking for someone to bother. His intentions are just as pure, he swears. He has been betrayed by his best bro, though, cold-bloodedly ditched at the last possible moment in favour of a vague, suspiciously late sparring session with Midoriya, which Kirishima is pretty sure will end up with their lips inexplicably bruised and sore, again. And listen, while that would be the perfect turning point from his friendly ghost status to full-on vengeful spirit trying to start some shit up, he's still incredibly happy for his bro, both for the privileged Midoriya training and their recent friendship/relationship improvement. Good for them. But it's been nearly 2 months since the last time Kirishima dyed his hair, and he's desperate to finally cover up those ugly black roots instead of just hiding them with increasingly complex hairstyles that involve unhealthy amounts of gel. It's bad for his hair, his self-esteem, and time management. Plus, he's also running out of ideas. Just the other day, Kaminari referred to him as a radioactive pineapple, which is a clear sign that he's finally reached the breaking point. The big, ugly, and inconvenient problem is that the last time he tried to do the job himself, it didn't go well. Hence Bakugo's reluctant but enthusiastic, aggressive assistance every couple months. Except tonight, apparently. The night he needs his bro's nimble fingers the most, said bro ditches him. To make matters worse, Kirishima had been mindlessly mixing the bleach in the bathroom, waiting for Bakugo to arrive his usual 15 minutes in advance, when the dreadful text lit up his phone. Bakugo, heart. Last minute train with Deku. Doll you up tomorrow. Kirishima had dumped a variety of sad and crying emojis in the chat, to which Bakugo had replied with a particularly funny sticker of Kaminari's short-circuited face. He couldn't even be properly annoyed about it, too overwhelmed by the pride and satisfaction that came from watching his bro text in a civil manner. No insults, no all-cap sentences, no exclamation points, just a neutral exchange of information, casual enough to include abbreviations and a fun little sticker too as a treat. Growth is so noble. So yeah, that's it. The brief, thrilling story behind Kirishima's first haunting experience. But listen, he's just looking for someone with enough free time and will to help him out so that he doesn't waste the bleach and dye. They're good quality, okay? And really expensive. But God, everyone is either hurled up in their rooms or has gone back home for the weekend. The halls are dead silent. The bathrooms too. Last he checked, the ground floor was empty as well. What a sad, lonely evening. With nothing better to do, Kirishima decides to drown his current sorrows in food. His snack stash only has healthy stuff in it, but he needs something tastier, something good, something satisfying. If he wasn't such a virtuous person, he'd steal something out of Bakugo's not super secret stash of spicy chips and effectively act as a vengeful ghost. But he already raided the last of Sato's brownies this morning, with his explicit approval, of course, so he's not in the mood for snack theft, no matter how innocent and well-meaning it may be. He's surprised to find Todoroki in the kitchen, even more stunned to see him eat from a bag of chips that looks suspiciously like Bakugo's favourite brand. "Hey, I didn't know you were here this weekend, man." "Oh, I was visiting my mother today. I'm going back home tomorrow." Todoroki pauses to eat a bunch of chips, blissfully chomping down on them with an inexplicable elegance. "I just like to have my space whenever I can." Alright, cool, Kirishima says, because it's alright and he's totally cool with the information. He's absolutely not overjoyed with the thought of maybe getting to spend some quality time with Todoroki, and with no one else around to boot. What he feels is just a normal amount of giddiness. Okay? Want some? Kirishima sits down on a stool next to Todoroki and feels the need to clarify. Those are Bakugos, right? Yeah, he confirms, reaching into the bag and snatching up another bunch of chips. They crunch pleasantly as he chews and then swallows, looking even more pleased now, if possible. They're the less spicy ones, if it helps. I can also make some chocolate milk to wash them down, he adds, before lifting a steaming mug in his hand and taking a sip. Kirishima wonders whether he wants to take part in something that could get him heavily scorched, but he figures they have automatically become partners in crime since he just bared witness to said crime. Well, crimes, because, dude, spicy chips with chocolate milk? Really? But what sort of friend would he be if he didn't help Todoroki hide the evidence now, or judge him for indulging in the smallest, most harmless and unlikely joys in life? Sure, man. I didn't think anyone else knew about his secret stash. No milk, though. Thank you. I caught him after one of our remedial courses, but I'm pretty sure Uraraka also knows about it. Midoriya, too. Oh, that's cool. I'm surprised he never caught us, but, well, some of his chips are too much even for me. When he reaches out to grab the goodies, Kirishima notices that Todoroki is looking at his head rather intensely. Do I have something in my hair? He asks, patting his hair with that hand instead. He feels some bumps and realizes that he forgot to take out the hairbands that separate his hair into sections. He must look ridiculous. No, I was just surprised by your hairstyle. It's interesting. Ah, right, sorry, he says, not sure what he's apologizing for. I was supposed to get my roots dyed tonight, but thanks. Oh, you dye your hair? Yeah, actually, my natural color is black, but it doesn't really fit my Crimson Riot-inspired aesthetic now, does it? Todoroki hums, eyes roaming all over his head, probably picturing Kirishima with black hair, which, please don't. I think red is a nice choice, and it suits you. It's bright. And if Todoroki smiles and said his choice of hair colour is nice and bright, whatever that means, after spending his life openly resenting everything the colour red represents, how is Kirishima expected not to melt into the ground like a puddle of goo? This dude, telling Kirishima that red suits him. Oh boy, thanks. That means a lot. I'm happy you like it, he says, stumbling in the middle of his sentence as soon as he realizes what he's saying. Is saying that okay? Is it allowed? Is it weird? Is it too much? You do it alone? Oh, no, Kirishima laughs. I mean, I've tried, but the result was just nope. Bakugo actually does it for me. But don't tell anyone. He doesn't want people to know that he's actually a nice guy. Todoroki kind of smiles at that, letting out a small, amused huff. Kirishima's hypnotized. Sure, isn't he training with Midoriya, though? Yeah, right, he says, only now realizing that Todoroki without Midoriya is just like Kirishima without Bakugo, which means that they both look like lost puppies waiting for their owners on a grocery run. Or a couple of friendly ghosts wandering around the dorms, not sure what to do with themselves. Actually, he ditched me right after I started mixing the stuff. He's usually so early. Todoroki hums. Well, if you want, I could do it. What? Really? No, wait. I don't want to bother you with this. It's a bit long and boring. I've actually helped my brother do it a couple of times, he offers. So, at least I know how it works. And you're not bothering me, since I'm the one who was offering. Kirishima thinks the first part sounds weirdly ominous, especially considering the fact that he might be referring to his murderer/straight-up villain sibling who still hasn't been brought to justice. But Todoroki's soft, kind smile and rare display of openness distracts him from thinking too deeply about it. Well, it'd be really neat, but only if you want to do it. I don't want to, interrupt or impose myself on your alone time or make you feel like you have to just because you know how to do it. If you have stuff to do, or just feel free to just. Don't worry. I have nothing else to do. Oh, okay. Wait, that came out wrong. Todoroki frowns. He actually frowns. I meant that I am free and willing, not bored enough to do it, or, I'd be happy to help. Are you sure, though? 'Cause Bakugo said he's gonna do it tomorrow, and I can totally wait till then. Kirishima's trying to be as considerate as possible, but also desperately trying to hide just how much he wants it to happen. Some alone bro time with Todoroki? Just the thought of those powerful hands twisting and weaving in his hair has his metaphorical tail wagging, thumping against the floor and whatever furniture dares to cross his path. I'm sure. It would be a pity to waste all that dye, and you're already prepared, Todoroki reasons, pointing at Kirishima's hair. I swear, I'm not feeling pressured. Okay, I believe you, Kirishima says, unable to do anything but smile back. He probably looks like an idiot, but he also feels like one for trying to politely reason with probably the bluntest person he's ever met. Also, he can almost hear Bakugo's gruff voice in his head going, "For fuck's sake, take it easy slower and you'll still be discussing this in the afterlife." This is me happily accepting your kind offer then. Thanks a lot, dude. You can thank me after, if I don't mess up your hair. I never said I'm any good at it, just that I know how it works. Kirishima laughs. Fair enough, he humours him, thinking that it's highly unlikely that hair dyeing could ever fall under the list of things Todoroki can't do, since that list is currently empty and has been ever since his failed provisional license exam, and then arose from his ashes like a majestic phoenix, or an equally impressive Pokemon evolution. A couple of minutes later, Kirishima enters the communal bathrooms wearing his comfy, dye-stained sweatpants, and he sees the neat way Todoroki arranged his tools on the counter. He pops down on the stool with a loud sound, alerting Todoroki of his presence. You forgot a towel. And a shirt, Todoroki says once he turns to look at him. The left side of his face is turning a little bit red. It is a little hot in here, now that he thinks about it. It's just easier if I don't wear one. I can always use my quirk if some dye stains it, so you'll have all the time in the world to wipe it off. Oh, okay. Todoroki stares at the box of hair dye. By the way, your dye of choice has the weirdest name. Whatever do you mean? Crimson Candy Ruby Apple Red just happens to be my favourite shade of red, he jokes. Bakugo always makes fun of the bad translations too. Todoroki's lips twitch, betraying his surprise. Or amusement. Okay, now let's get started before your hair dries. Once the gloves are on, Todoroki is in full professional mode, leaving Kirishima to keep the conversation flowing. He doesn't really mind, since Todoroki is naturally a quiet guy, and Kirishima's, well, not. Plus, he's already used to doing the talking with Bakugo, and listen, that boy doesn't look like it, but he loves some good gossip. Kirishima employs the same tactic to keep his mind and mouth occupied, and at the same time avoid making his helper regret their decision. Also, Todoroki's kind of the only person Kirishima can talk to about the Bakugo and Midoriya weird as fuck dynamic, so that's just an extremely convenient bonus. And then every time it happens, which I know you know how often that is, Bakugo's all like, shitty nerd, got lucky, but I'ma show him next time. And then next time happens, and he comes to me all like, I didn't sleep well because of your shitty music, and that fucker used it against me. Which is practically just means, that was super hot, and I hope he does it again, but harder. Also, your taste in music is immaculate. Todoroki laughs at that, and Kirishima beams. When Todoroki compliments his Bakugo impression, Kirishima swoons. Oh my god. And one time, I caught them sneaking off together after class, like walking all suspiciously and stuff. And when I asked Bakugo about it the next day, he contradicted himself like 3 times. You know that's a lot for him. He denied it at first, and then he yelled something about privacy and stalking, and then made up some excuse about Midoriya having trouble with his quirk, which, okay, alright, that might have been true, but he was blushing, Todoroki. Blushing! It was crazy. So Hanta jokes about their sexual tension during training, and Denki tells him to suck it up and just go for it, meaning he quotes Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I know you've seen it, so you'll understand, and so he just says, "You do need to bone." And Bakugo's all like, "Bone? What? How dare you?" And I swear, I thought I was gonna end up spitting up a lung how hard I was laughing. Holy shit. They fall into a fit of laughter that feels so good. It might be the late night silliness setting in, but Todoroki's fingers are still tangled in a strand of his hair that he accidentally pulls on when he leans back, which makes Kirishima yelp, and they laugh even harder. When their eyes meet in the mirror, they fall into yet another fit. It's wonderful. There are no other words to describe it, really. Oh, did I ever tell you about the time I found them almost cuddling on a couch in the common room? In public! It was a couple of weeks ago, I think, and it was like thighs and feet almost touching. Thighs and feet! Oh, and Midoriya even reached out with his own foot. I'm pretty sure he was about to pass out, and Bakugo was sitting so stiffly I felt the pain in my back. Just remembering it hurts, I swear. Oh, really? Yeah, I think Midoriya's finally started flirting back in that weird aggressive way of theirs, and it's throwing Bakugo through a loop. Yeah, I told him to. What? Really? Dude, that's awesome! It took a while to convince him, though, and a lot of questionable manipulation tactics, courtesy of Shinzo. Hey, whatever helps, right? Kirishima laughs. I've been trying to get Bakugo to realize just how not normal it is to want to beat someone up all the time instead of just, I don't know, opening up. And I've been sprinkling hints about feelings and sexual frustration in every conversation, but he always goes to the usual, shitty hair! Stop fucking projecting your horniness onto me and go wet your own dick with that stupid... Kirishima freezes, eyes widening at the realization that he was just about to, and in front of, just his usual vulgar stuff, he resumes, ignoring how his voice sounds awfully shrill. And he's always mean about it, but like a normal amount, so I don't think he's catching what I'm putting down. One time, he even accused me of having a crush on Midoriya. I was just tactfully pointing out his non-platonic obsession, since I'm all about strong values and stuff, and he went, and I quote, "Stop fucking mooning and go sit on the nerd's dick if you like his thick and strong thighs that much." Todoroki hums, pensive, and Kirishima chances a look at him in the mirror. He's adorably focused. "I see," he says, fingers pausing their movement in Kirishima's hair. "If it makes you feel any better, I had to convince Midoriya that sharing water bottles counts as flirting. Also, now he spends a lot of time talking about Ashido and Kaminari's cute love story." Oh man, that's really funny. Wait, oh my god, is that why Bakugo keeps going to the bathroom during training? Yes. And oh boy, Kirishima's already flying on a happy, fluffy cloud from being able to talk about his favourite people to his other favourite person, when Todoroki surprises him even more by actively participating. As in, willingly offering information, carrying the conversation. Kirishima's poor heart just can't take it. This one weekend, Midoriya told me they took the same train to go back home, and since it was rush hour, they ended up sitting next to each other, and Bakugo fell asleep on his shoulder. I can't remember exactly when it happened, but it can't be more than a month or 2 ago. Kirishima can't help but swoon for both his friends and himself for somehow landing this amazing, wonderful, unique situation. What a night. Eventually, Todoroki has Kirishima all aliened up with tinfoil on his head. From ghost to alien, all in one night. People should call him the king of makeovers. Still, sitting on the tiny stool, Kirishima eyes the bottle on the counter, noticing the leftover amount of dye. Todoroki really is a pro. He looks at Todoroki next, watches his struggle to take off the dirty gloves without staining his hands. Strands of white hair keep falling over his eyes, and he keeps shaking his head with a small frown on his face. It's so fucking cute. Hey, you know what'd be funny? It's dumb and weird, but what if we dyed your white hair red? Todoroki seems to consider this, and finally manages to pull off the last glove and throws it in the bin. It occurs to Kirishima that he could have probably just burned them, and that makes the whole ordeal even more endearing. You know I'm spending the day with my family tomorrow, Todoroki says, not after long. Oh, okay, yeah, better not. No, that was actually a yes. I couldn't think of a funny idea, or a better time. Kirishima grins, and then nearly falls down the stool from how cute the smile he gets in return is. He also can't help but find Todoroki's teenage rebellion extremely attractive. Mischief is such a good look on him. To be fair, everything is a good look on him. But there's just something about that determined, challenging glint in his eyes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so maybe he can't completely blame Bakugo and Midoriya for getting lost in the adrenaline. Whatever. They take a couple of minutes to prepare, which means that Kirishima borrows a pair of Shoji's cleaning gloves, since he has a lot of hands and a bunch of spare gloves, and Todoroki dunks his head in the sink to wet his hair. Kirishima tries really hard not to stare at his ass, more than socially acceptable and respectful. It's a really nice one, though. It turns out, or rather it gets confirmed, that unlike Todoroki, Kirishima could never open a hair salon. Not that he's been secretly dreaming of becoming anything but a hero, but it's always good to leave all kinds of options open, right? Well, anyway, he's way too clumsy for this, so that's a solid no. Thankfully, Todoroki's quirk proves to be also extremely useful for freezing his skin and not letting any dye stain it, or straight up burning the offensive substance upon contact. Kirishima does accidentally melt the tip of his gloved pinky the first time it happens, but he's happy to learn that he physically cannot inconvenience his friend's pretty skin. He also obviously is going to buy a replacement pair of gloves for Shoji. And we're done! Kirishima declares, after gently smoothing down the now wet and red half of Todoroki's hair. Okay, maybe it's the 4th time he's patted it down, but who knows when he'll get another chance to touch Todoroki like this. Sue him. That was fast. Yeah, I hope I didn't mess anything up. I swear I tried my best, and I only had half the amount of hair to dye, so yeah. I'm sure you did a good job. Help me with the tinfoil? Right, yes! It's a bit awkward, since their hands keep touching. Kirishima can't help but mentally praise Todoroki for not showing any uneasiness when he did it before. Or maybe it's just Kirishima's brain going all gooey whenever Todoroki's close. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. You're, like, really pretty, he blurts out after he's folded back the last piece of tinfoil. And listen, Todoroki just looks really nice with his hair pushed back from his face. He should show his forehead more. Kirishima can't be expected to keep certain thoughts to himself. What the hell? Todoroki looks just as surprised as Kirishima feels. Thank you, he says. You're prettier, though. No way, dude. You're like Beauty and I'm the Beast. I'll fight you about it. Todoroki's nose scrunches up at that, and Kirishima thinks he's about to faint. Okay, we can fight about it. I'll do my best to win. Kirishima doesn't know what to say, so they just look at each other in silence, and he feels his mouth turning into a soft, sappy smile. It's surprisingly comfortable. It's cool that you want to fight for my honor. Well, I can't just stand here and let you bring yourself down like that. Ooh, my hero. Kirishima proposes they take a funny mirror selfie to document their tinfoil capped heads, and he can't help but notice how good they look just standing next to each other. Todoroki's slightly taller than him, which has always made him feel unspeakable things, but watching it now is just... it's a lot. Kirishima's all bulky and awkward, and Todoroki's lean and elegant and... "Let's go on a date!" Kirishima blurts out, blinded by the amount of red he sees in the mirror. It's the colour of love, right? And passion. "If you want, obviously." "Oh, I do, but I've never been on one. It might be weird." "Oh, well, obviously we don't have to." "Maybe we could ask Bakugo and Midoriya to come on a double date, and it'll be less awkward?" Kirishima feels himself explode into a smile at the suggestion, suddenly over the moon. That's a great idea. Kirishima wakes up the next morning with a message waiting to be read on his phone. When he opens it, he's met with a selfie from Todoroki. It's so weird seeing him with hair fully red, but he's staring at the camera with his signature poker face, while on his left stand his brother and sister with matching shocked expressions on their faces, their bodies blurry with movement. They're clearly screaming, and it makes Kirishima lose it. On Monday, just before Aizawa-sensei enters the classroom, Bakugo takes one look at Todoroki and declares, unimpressed, "At least choose the right shade of red next time, fucking loser." "I like your new look, Todoroki," comments Midoriya, barely audible under Aizawa-sensei's call for silence. Kirishima can't stop smiling, because the four of them have a double date scheduled for Saturday at lunch. Hey guys, it's Ella and I hope you're all having a lovely day today. And here it is, the long-awaited TodoKiri fic. I had to hunt for this. I had to hunt hard. And when I read this on the bus this morning, I saw the premise. I went, ooh, a little bit of spice. I read it on the bus. I consumed this. I consumed it so hard. Instantly was like, please let me podfic this. And as soon as I got home from work, I ran to my room to turn on the mic and record this. So I hope you like it. If you didn't ship it before, I'm sure you do now, like I do, because this was the cutest shit I've ever read in my life. But this does go to show, if you get in the comments, if you ask for stuff for me to read, I'll probably get to it. Like, I might not get there quickly, but I will find a fic that you like. If you have a pairing you really want me to read, if you have a fic that you want me to read, you can always at me on Twitter or Instagram, or you can just go down in the comments. But I know sometimes you can't link there, which is kind of annoying. But I'll do it. I do take suggestions, so, you know, get in the comments. Suggest stuff. Maybe tell me what you thought about the fic. We can talk about the fic. We can talk about your lives. How was your day today? Let's just have a chat. You know I love talking to all of you guys. And, you know, like the video if you liked it. If you're already there, you might as well. And, you know, you could subscribe to be notified when I make new videos. It's the polite thing to do, you know? But until I see you again, be sure to practice some self-care. Drink your water. Go to bed on time. Brush your teeth. Brush them. Do it. Are you doing it? Because this is a threat. I will catch you guys later. The night he needs his bro's nimble fingers the most, said bro ditches him. And when the world needed him most, he disappeared. Is Bakugo the avatar? Confirmed? Oh. Fuck. My sense of humour is so dumb. I did this last time. I just read it on my own and I was still doing this. Honestly, who is going to tell me that I'm not funny?